advantages and how we digest foods. We want to be able to understand how that all works first. So digestion starts in the nose. So your ability to smell things is actually what starts the entire digestive process. So the olfactory sense, or what's called our smell, basically starts the production of all the digestive enzymes. So that includes our saliva, and includes hydrochloric acid in our stomach, and other different enzymes that are allowed to cascade all the way through our digestive system. So, and we talk about, as we go along, we talk about the first section would be the mouth. Now, this is not something I would recommend, but the mouth is made for more than talking. So I can't really say that to my wife, so I might as well say it here. So the mouth contains particular enzymes called salivary amylase, or what's in your saliva. And that was what the beginnings of breaking down carbohydrates. So I know all people were thinking about sugar is bad and carbohydrates are all bad. We actually have enzymes to break them down, and they start in the mouth when we produce saliva, when we start to smell our food. And now, anyone here understand or have heard of diets where they're talking about making sure to avoid different acids or alkalis in your body? Has anyone ever tried diets like that or heard of diets like that before?
I haven't tried.
Okay, so we've heard a little bit of them. This is all I'm going to explain is that the enzyme in your mouth, also in your saliva, functions at a pH of what's called at 7.0 to 7.4. Now let me explain a little bit about this. Acids, things like hydrochloric acid in your stomach, has a pH that's very low. It's usually like a 1. And it goes all the way to something that's the most alkaline, that would be at a scale of 14. So 7's right in the middle. And each of our body systems function at a specific different pH, or the pH system. So like you can go and there's certain tests that you can do for various diseases if your urine or other different bodily fluids are perhaps more acidic or more basic than the others. But these diets, when they tell you, it's like we got to avoid acids because when the body gets more acidic, we have problems. The problem is that our body has a cascade of pH starting from the mouth going into the stomach that all creates the function for normal digestion, allows for the presence of probiotic bacteria in your gut, and allows for the entire digestive process to work throughout your body. So anyone who anyone who tells you that you should go and worry about the acids or bases in the food, or how acidic or how alkaline the food is, you really don't want to listen to very much. Just to say that, because it's going to end up leading you astray and excluding certain foods that are very, very nutritious for you. So your saliva also contains the first line of defense against a lot of pathogenic bacteria. So it can help kill funguses and viruses and bacteria, and it has a compound which is called Sig-A, which is a compound that helps to go and start your body's ability to fight off infection. So very, very important that when we are eating food, producing saliva, starting by actually going and smelling your food, which is important. So not rushing, being able to take time to smell your food, and being able to produce saliva helps you start that digestive process. So now I talk about the stomach. So you see a little picture of the achy stomach, and then this says Cl and H. Do you know? Does anyone know what that is? That's hydrochloric acid. That's correct. Yes. So the stomach produces hydrochloric acid, which basically, if you had a bottle of hydrochloric acid and you poured it on the floor to eat through the concrete, that's how powerful this acid is. The great thing about it, though, is that it can basically go and kill off any bacteria, and it can kill off any type of parasite and things of that nature. So when this is functioning properly, it acts for one of the best defenses that you have against a lot of bad bacteria and a lot of bad pathogens that we normally get exposed to through our daily life. It allows for also a lot of the vitamin and nutrient absorption, such as B12. Anyone ever take blood tests for it, and they go to the doctors and they do blood tests for certain vitamins and nutrients before? Raise their hand if you guys have had them before. Okay. Have you guys ever been tested for B12 before? The vitamin B12? Well, one of the things that a lot of doctors will go and talk about is the ability to have B12 in your system, which allows for various different energy reactions in your body. So people will have a lot of issues with lack of energy, who have trouble, waking up in the morning and feel just kind of blah throughout the day. Vitamin B12 is one of those vitamins that are necessary for that. In order to actually absorb it, you've got to be able to have adequate amounts of stomach acid. It aids in the absorption of that vitamin and nutrients, and other nutrients as well.
You're going to tell us how to get more of the acid.
It's a great point, how we can do that. So when it comes to going and actually producing hydrochloric acid, this is why we don't want to necessarily go vegan. Your body is a cascading system, so when you actually go and decrease your intake of protein-based foods, your body will downregulate the production of hydrochloric acid in turn. So, because your body doesn't think it needs it, because hydrochloric acid is there to go and break down protein for the most part. That's one of the main digestive functions of it. If you don't have enough protein in the diet, it will actually decrease your body's ability to produce that, and then you end up with a bunch of vitamin, mineral, and nutrient deficiencies. And also, you can also get things like GERD, gastroesophageal reflux. So if anyone here has GERD or suffers from heartburn, anyone here unlucky enough to have that symptom? So that comes from your body's inability, the food comes back up because it basically is not being digested properly enough. It has to sit in your stomach too long. Because of the fact a lot of times can be due to low amounts of hydrochloric acid, not necessarily excessive amounts of acid. So a lot of times when you're taking pocket, Prilosec or over-the-counter acid blockers, they actually sometimes, in some cases, can make the problem worse. So this is where we actually digest and absorb most of our things. So our small intestine, pancreas, and the liver. So when you look at the small intestine, if you actually stretch out the small intestine and looked inside of it, it has the amount of square footage inside of it that could cover an entire tennis court in every single person. So you could actually go and stretch out how well your small intestine can absorb food, and would have it'd be basically about maybe a little bit longer than this entire office. So if you guys get an idea of how important this organ is, this is where we actually absorb all of our food. And our pancreas and our liver basically store a lot of the enzymes to help us break down and absorb the food. So once it passes through the stomach, you get into the small intestine, and that's where you can go and then produce a lot of those enzymes. So your pancreas, for example, produces enzymes to go and help you break down more protein and carbohydrates. Your liver stores bile salts and stores them in the gallbladder. So anyone have issues with gallbladder issues, or know people who have gallbladder issues? Thank God, because that's a terrible thing. It's not a very fun thing to have. But your gallbladder is where you store all your what are called bile salts, and they help you to go and digest and absorb the fat that you eat. So just a little quick understanding of that. Your large intestine is where you actually help to reabsorb a lot of the nutrients that you don't normally get. So this is where you have the absorption of extra water. So a lot of times people who don't drink a lot of water, people get constipated when they don't drink a lot of water, because your food has to sit in your large intestine so long because you're just trying to get excess water. So the more water you drink, the better off that you'll be. So a lot of times you get digestive issues from that. It also helps you to absorb a lot of other different vitamins, minerals, and nutrients, and the bacteria in it can actually help you produce things like vitamin B2, B12, and what's called vitamin K, which actually helps to pull calcium out of your arteries. So we want to talk about improving heart health. Anyone here know someone or loved one, or perhaps yourself, have had issues with heart disease? We all raise our hands, because we probably all know someone that does. A lot of that nutrient deficiency can come with issues with the bacteria in our gut. So anyone here see commercials about probiotics and probably have all nodding our heads. We all seen those commercials with, you know, various celebrities and talking about eating yogurt or you know, having this, so this helps improve your immune system. This is where all those bacteria are actually located. These bacteria are all located in the small animal large intestine, and they help assist your body in helping to absorb those nutrients. So when you look at getting foods with these type of bacteria in them, have anyone heard of like drinks like kombucha or things of that nature? Anyone kind of nod your head because you've heard things like that? Those things that are fermented, those fermented vegetables are actually one of the things that you can go and get these natural bacteria from your food. So things like, you know, kombucha or fermented vegetables like sauerkraut, like a naturally fermented sauerkraut and things of that nature. There's a lot of different ones, but those will produce a bacteria which is called lactobacillus. Has anyone ever heard of lactobacillus before? Okay, that's one of the main ones. The thing is, though, is a lot of people, and I know this because when I go to the farming co-op to pick up my pastured animal food, which if you guys have gotten my last email, you might have gotten the order form for it, they'll have a ton of these different fermented vegetables and drinks and things like that. But the problem is when you have too much of the one bacteria and not enough the one that goes in the small intestine, which is called bifidobacter. Anyone heard of that one before? So if you take a look at your, where's the
PB Assist?
The PB Assist.
It's on top of the vitamins.
So when you actually have a probiotic, you should have a combination of a acidophilus, or what's called, of the lactobacillus acidophilus. So you see on here, say L acidophilus, and it says B bifidum, which is bifidobacter. A good probiotic, which I'm sure, which Lori's going to talk about in a little bit, is going to have both of those. So you want to make sure that you're not intaking too much, but you want to also have foods that contain that bacteria. Anyone have an idea of foods that might have that bacteria in them? Well, it actually would be dairy products. So dairy products that haven't been pasteurized, the raw, the unprocessed dairy products. So things like the raw milk or raw cheese, raw yogurt, you'll be able to go and find the balance of those bacteria. So having living enzymatic